Shalom, shalom again, brethren. This is part 4 of the lesson study entitled Yahuah's New Moon Day. When is it and why is it important? I first want to read to you Genesis chapter 1, verse 14 to verse 18. And it reads, "And Elohim said, Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs, and for seasons, and for days, and years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven, to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And Elohim made 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And Elohim set them in the firmament of the heaven, to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And Elohim saw that it was good." Brethren, we have to bear in mind that the sun, the moon, and the stars are still there, and what Yahuah has charged them with and ordained for them to do has not changed. Yahuah has divinely ordained his luminaries, the sun, moon, and stars, in the heavens, and there is nothing arbitrary or insignificant about them. The phases of the moon, the rising and setting of the sun, and the position of the stars are all relevant for us to measure time. When using Yahuah's calendar, the first dawn after the lunar-solar conjunction marks the beginning of the date line as defined by these luminaries. Dawn then moves forward from that point, bringing with it New Moon Day to the world. This is what ultimately unites the whole world on one 24-hour solar revolution, which is not possible with any other method for reckoning the new moon. Through this method, the sun and the moon are seen to govern over the seasons, or what we know as Moed, the month, the Shabbats, and the feast. This proves that there is no need for the man-made date line, which is also known as the international date line. In the book of James, chapter 1, verse 16 to verse 17, it reads, "Do not err, my beloved brethren. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, and cometh down from the Father of lights, with whom is no variableness, neither shadow of turning." So again, just to reiterate, the man-made date line, or the international date line, is out of the question. This is not how Yahuah has ordained for us to measure time. Yahuah's date line changes geographically from one month to the next, so we can clearly see that the dawn after conjunction is the first lunar method, that unites the whole world on one 24-hour solar revolution. No one will begin New Moon Day more than 24 hours after the actual conjunction takes place. There are only 24 hours from the time of the conjunction until New Moon Day dawns. In the last geographical region to receive the day. So to put it blunt, this is an amazing testimony to the uniqueness and consistency of Yahuah's worldwide date line. In Isaiah 66 verse 22, it reads, "For as the new heavens and the new earth which I will make shall remain before me, saith Yahuah, so shall your seed and your name remain." Verse 23, "And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Shabbat to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith Yahuah." So we see that in the kingdom to come, in eternity, we will be keeping the new moon along with the regular weekly 7th day Shabbat. We can clearly see that new moon days, like the 7th day Shabbat, are worship days, as we see that they will be worshipped upon in the kingdom. And this is not to say that new moon days was not a day that worship was commanded upon. For if we read in Numbers chapter 28 verse 11, it clearly reads, "And in the beginnings of your months ye shall offer a burnt offering unto Yahuah, 2 bullocks, 2 young bullocks, and 1 ram, 7 lambs of the first year without spot." So we can clearly see, if we continue to read in Numbers chapter 28 verse 11 to verse 15, we can see that worship was commanded on the new moon day. What we now have to try to remember is that new moon days is neither a 7th day Shabbat nor a working day. It is a day set apart specifically for worship. There's no buying or selling to earn a living on new moon days. In other words, there's no commerce. No commerce is permitted on this day. We can see this when we read Amos chapter 8 verse 4 to verse 5, if I'm not mistaken. It reads, "Hear this, O ye that swallow up the needy, even to make the poor of the land to fail, saying, When will the new moon be gone, that we may sell corn, and the Shabbats, that we may set forth wheat, making the ephah small and the shekel great, and falsifying the balances by deceit?" So we see clearly that new moon days was not a day of commerce. Again, please bear in mind that I have quoted the scriptures which says, "To the law and the testimony, line upon line, and precept upon precept." And this is the premises or the grounds within which I'm trying to stay. In understanding new moon days, we need to understand that there is no command given not to cook food on new moon days, and there's no indications anywhere in scriptures that the food gathered or prepared on the 6th day, which is preparation day, was to be held over until 2 days later. A perfect example of this is when we look at the scenario with Jonathan, David, King Saul, and I believe Abner and some of the guests that were present for the feast of New Moon Day. This is found in the book of 1 Samuel chapter 20. If we would just delve into that to understand the dynamics and how things worked when they were getting ready to keep the Feast of New Moon, we would see that the last Shabbat, which is the 29th day of the previous month, would have passed, and New Moon Day, which is the first day of the following month, was at hand, and preparation, food, etc. were being made and prepared for that feast. So today, we can use New Moon days as a time of recommitment for the upcoming month. It is a day of looking back on the past month and rejoicing in blessings given from Yahuah, while asking for forgiveness for the wrongs committed. It is also a wonderful opportunity to look ahead to the up and coming month. New Moon Day was and still is a time for gathering together with family and others of like minds and rejoicing in the blessings of Yahuah while recommitting oneself and family to Yahuah. In 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 5 to verse 7, it reads, "Ye are all the children of light, and the children of the day. We are not of the night, nor of darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep as do others. Let us watch and be sober. For they that sleep, sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night." Brethren, a restoration of Yahuwah's word is going on worldwide. The restorers of the breaches, the repairers of the breaches, are repairing the breaches. The paths, the old paths that we were to walk in, are now being walked in. And we are acknowledging, as the scripture says in Deuteronomy, where we went wrong. And as a result of acknowledging where we went wrong, we turn back to Yahuah with all our heart, all our might, and all our strength, as per Deuteronomy chapter 30. And once we do this, Yahuah will turn to us. He will help us to continue to remember how to serve Him and how to live for Him. I have been asked the question, well, if the 7th day Shabbat is not Friday sundown to Saturday sundown, how am I going to manage? And simply put, my response was, if Yahuah Elohim is your Elohim, you will manage. There's so much more that I could have said to the person, but this is where the issue of faith in Yahuah comes into play. Not only on the 7th day Shabbat, but in keeping of all of the other feasts. Coming out of the darkness that has shrouded the world. As the scripture says, the devil has deceived the whole world. But Yahushua says He will send a comforter, and He will teach us all things. So we need to take heed. And if we are mistaken and correction comes, we take correction and we use the correction to go forward in righteousness and in love. So, my brethren, continue to call me via WhatsApp. Post your comments on the YouTube comment section. And of course, you may email me. As always, I am no scholar. I am no teacher. I am a fellow brethren. Shalom.